back on Get Up, and let's run the floor now that the NBA regular season is over. We can talk about where everybody's going to be seated. So this is the Eastern Conference, and playing without an injured Blake Griffin, the Pistons still took care of the Knicks.
That's right, Detroit basketball. That's how we do.
The 8th and final playoff spot in the East. Now, Jaylen, does Detroit have any shot at making it a long series with the Bucks?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were so excited, though.
I'm really excited that the Pistons made the playoffs, but you just said Blake Griffin didn't play because he had an injury.
Yeah.
And the Bucks probably have this year's MVP, and they have the league's best record.
Yeah.
But I'll be rooting for the Pistons, but not picking them.
Joel Embiid set for the 5th time in 7 games to close out the regular season. Sixers GM Elton Brand said it's possible that Embiid won't be ready to play for Game 1 this weekend. More on this in a second, but we will start with this. How concerned should Philly be about their star center?
I'm not only concerned about Joel Embiid this playoff, I'm concerned for him long term. As such a young player, he's missed so much action. He missed 2 playoff games to start last year's playoffs.
He's had issues with being healthy. The Celtics will be without Marcus Smart on another injury note for 4 to 6 weeks. Smart tore his left oblique in last Sunday's game. How big of a loss is this for Boston?
So this is one of those losses. While Marcus Smart hasn't and probably won't be an all-star, he functions as one on this team. He's their best perimeter passer. He's their best defender. And having him in the starting lineup frees Kyrie up for defensive responsibility so he can focus on offense. That is a big loss for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, we know the Celtics will be without Smart in their series against Indiana. BPI, though, still giving Boston a 66% chance to win. Our model also favors the Bucks, Raptors, and Sixers in their first-round series in lopsided fashion. Hope those series are a little closer than that, according to BPI. Domonique, Foxworth, Jalen Rose here. And it's interesting because when talking about Marcus Smart, I think what you said is really well taken, that he's an all-star on their team. How do they try to fill that void to make it to where they can still, advance in the playoffs?
More minutes for Terry Rozier, playing alongside Kyrie. More minutes for Gordon Hayward. And more minutes for Jaylen Brown in the backcourt, who can supplement a lot of that defense that Smart gives you.
But correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Rozier and Kyrie don't mesh as well as teammates as Smart does, because the point that you made that I think is a huge one is Marcus Smart is a perimeter defender. Kyrie is not a perimeter defender.
Correct. It's
nice to have somebody to take on that perimeter defense responsibility. I'm not sure Terry Rozier is that guy. And there's another thing about having a team like this is all great teams always have kind of a wild card guy. And Marcus Smart brings that energy and brings that attitude. It's hard to measure, but not having him out there, I guess you could rely on Morris to give him that, but it's something that you can't calculate, but I do think has a value.
But see, they're going against an Indiana team that their guard, in particular, their point guards, aren't high scoring.
Right.
Yeah.
Collison and Corey Joseph, they're not going to put up necessarily 30-point nights on you. So that won't expose Kyrie as much, and it'll allow you to play Kyrie with Rozier, Kyrie with Gordon Hayward, and they'll still be fine because Indiana is without their best player in Victor Oladipo.
You mentioned the 76ers and Joel Embiid and saying that you're a little bit concerned about Embiid long term, but let's talk specifically about this first round of the playoffs. Do you worry about the Nets being able to upset the 76ers without Embiid?
The Nets outplayed expectations, and they've been a great feel-good story for the regular season. Initially, as Karis LeVert was playing at an all-star level, they paid Spencer Dinwiddie, and rightfully so. And then D'Angelo Russell did emerge as an all-star. But this matchup caters to the Philadelphia 76ers, in particular one Ben Simmons. At 6'10", playing point guard, when Allen isn't on the floor for the Nets, Ben Simmons a lot of times is going to be the tallest person on the floor for either team. So they're not going to really be able to take advantage of the fact that he's not much of a shooter. And I think Ben Simmons is going to flourish in this series.
The one question I've always had about Ben Simmons is, why can't you just screen the defender who's on Ben Simmons? If people sag off and he doesn't shoot, he can't shoot, see, people will sag off and you can make a play from that decision. But that's a whole nother ball of wax. I'm not a basketball coach. I am excited for D'Angelo Russell, though. Like, I want D'Angelo Russell to have an incredible series, but there's no chance that they knock off the 76ers. They have entirely too many all-star level players.
Absolutely. And Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler, both free agents at the end of this year, so they're hoping to make big-time playoff splashes as well.